Hello Pisces and welcome to your March 2019 mid-month love reading. This is just a bonus reading that I normally do for signs if their readings, if their video from the previous month had the most views, likes, or subscriptions. And it was a toss-up between you and a couple other signs when I had initially posted the March videos and I had to travel. So I figured, oh, all right, when I come back, I'll see, who pulled ahead and do the video for that sign. But I got caught up in some other stuff, so my apologies for the delay, but that's why I decided to just do a mid-month for March, since we're basically already in the middle of March somehow. But yeah, this is basically just a bonus video to thank you guys for all the love in the February reading. And for those of you who haven't seen this layout before, it's different from the regular readings that I do in that this is actually based on a variation of the past, present, future spread. And I use a different deck for the main cards as well. So this is the Lover's Path Tarot that I'm using there. And as far as the layout, the card up here, upper left-hand corner, that represents your past influence on a potential relationship between you and your main love interest. This would be their past influence. This would be your present influence, their present influence, the likely outcome of the potential relationship. And then similar to with the regular readings as well, I do pull an oracle card. And I actually did pull one extra card for you guys from a new deck that I have. So quite a bit to get to. It's a pretty interesting looking spread. I'm kind of curious to see how it all plays out, but let's go through them one by one. So, oh, and happy birthday, by the way, to those of you belated if it already passed, and if you guys are, in the last week of Pisces, happy early birthday to you guys. But yeah, so the first card in the position of your past influence on a potential relationship, we have the King of Cups in reverse. So I'll just flip it around to the upright while we talk about it. And this actually represents Scorpio for me normally. But since this is you guys, and it is also a water sign, this could certainly be the energy that you were in the past. I don't necessarily look at this as a gender one way or the other. I view it more as usually the sign and the energy itself. So for this to be in reverse, the main vibe that I'm getting is that you were being pretty closed off emotionally in the past. So whether you had your reasons for it or not, we'll see. I mean, I could see maybe why that was the case looking at their card in the past position. But yeah, King of Cups in reverse, when I think about that energetically, could have definitely just been, like I said, you were closed off emotionally, or maybe even not really doing that, but more like trying to play hard to get. Because Scorpio energy, when it's manifesting negatively, could definitely be about control, and sometimes they could be a little manipulative in that regard. Again, like I said, in the reverse, not in the upright, so I don't need Scorpios in my mentions for me saying that, but yeah, that's the vibe that I'm getting there. With this in the reverse position, that's what it was. Either you were closed off emotionally, or you were just trying to give off that vibe, playing hard to get for some reason. And moving on to the position for their past influence on a potential relationship, we have Magic, which is basically it's the equivalent of the Magician card in the regular Rider-Waite tarot deck. So the main vibe that I'm getting here is this is another thing where I could see it going one of the two ways, just like with your card. The main two things that I'm getting from this is either they were in a manifesting mode, so they were the ones who totally were the ones who made the advance between the two of you. And then, like I said, so if that's the case, if this is just trying to say that they were in a manifesting mode and they were like, all right, I'm ready to make my move and try to get with Pisces, you could have just been closing them off and playing hard to get. Now, the other potential thing that it could be, pointing to the Magician card, is saying that maybe the reason that you were closed off emotionally is because you didn't necessarily trust the offer. If we think about the Magician, right? They show you one thing, but they're really doing another. So that's the other way that it could play out for some of you, was that, they made an offer, but you weren't necessarily sure you could trust it. And one thing that came to mind with this in reverse, just looking at the way the two cards are laid out, I actually did laugh about it right before I started recording, because one thought I got in my mind was, if we look at his cup right there, when this card is in reverse the way it came out, it almost looks like he would be pouring the drink on that person's head. So you guys could even been at a bar or something and they might have said something to you inappropriate. And maybe you didn't literally spill a drink on their head, but maybe that was the thought in your mind. Maybe they just really came at you in a way that you felt was a bit inappropriate. And maybe that was the issue between the two of you in the past. But yeah, that's like I said, the main two vibes that I'm getting there. For your past position, it was either that you were given that hard to get vibe, right, for whatever reason, or it's that you were closed off because you thought you couldn't trust their offer, and then on their end, it was that they were trying to manifest, thought that they were going to make progress, and then you were closed off with them, or it really is that they were being a little deceptive with the offer that they made to you, and you kind of got that vibe, and that's why you closed off. You're like, yeah, I'm not really feeling that. In the position of your present influence on a potential relationship, can't pick up these cards right now. There we go. We have the Seven of Coins, so just the Seven of Pentacles card here. This is technically a Taurus energy, but really, if we look at the artwork here as opposed to the regular Rider-Waite, the way I'm viewing it is this to me almost makes it seem more likely that you just felt that their offer wasn't, legit. You're like, okay, I'm not. So this makes me feel like more like it's not necessarily that you were playing hard to get, but more that you're like, okay, I'm not sure if I could take this person seriously, right? So if we look at them, it looks like there's the age difference there. So, you might have perceived the offer that they made to you to be a little, I don't know, a little shady. You're like, I don't know if I could really take this person seriously, right? And if that's the case, it looks like you might still be in that energy now. And then the Seven of Pentacles, as a general energy, would kind of be saying, you're on the fence about if you want to invest more in the connection or not anyway, right? Another thing that comes to mind too, actually, before I forget, with the King of Cups in reverse, if this is pointing to a timeline also, this could be pointing to when Venus was in retrograde last year, because it was in retrograde in Scorpio initially. So that could also be what this is about too. Maybe that was when they made the offer to you, and maybe with the Venus retrograde energies, that's not typically a good time to start a relationship anyway. So maybe now with Mercury now being retrograde in your sign, you're getting a chance to look at that situation over again and see, okay, maybe I wasn't seeing things correctly, or maybe you guys have reconnected since then, and maybe, you're trying to get things off the ground now, but you're still like, I don't know. That could be what that's pointing to there. With the card and their present influence on the situation, we have the Four of Arrows, basically the equivalent of the Four of Swords. So this is something that I could see playing out one of two ways also. Four of Arrows comes after Three of Arrows. So everyone knows the Three of Swords image, right? It's that heart with the three swords going through it. So, and then the Four follows it, and it basically, in the Rider-Waite deck, it's a person that looks like they're in a knight outfit, and they have those three swords above them, and it looks like they're just laying in a bed resting, right? They're trying to heal. So naturally, for us to see the Four here, if it was the scenario where they did make an offer to you, and you were closed off to it, could be saying that they were heartbroken about it for a while, and now they're healing from it somewhat. Now, that's with the Rider-Waite imagery in mind of the person by themselves healing. But with this deck, we have to honor the artwork in this deck as well. And here it looks like looks like these people clearly just slept together. So this could be saying that, basically they're on the rebound right now. After what happened between the two of you, they didn't get anywhere with you. So now they're on the rebound, maybe hooking up with other people or whatever the case may be. And you know what? This could also be reinforcing, the energy of if you thought that person had a bit of like a player type thing going on, that these two cards together, again, if this were the traditional Rider-Waite deck, I wouldn't get that vibe. But looking at the artwork there, it could definitely be that, that you're like, okay, because you have Pentacles here, so this could be saying that you're looking for something more stable, and you have a feeling that they're looking for something more casual. And maybe that's why you were shut off to it in the beginning. Like maybe you felt like they were trying to offer you something more stable, but you felt deep down like, all right, they might just be all talk, right? So maybe that's why you were playing hard to get. If that's the scenario, if that's the group you fit into, the ones who are playing hard to get, maybe you were doing that to see, okay, is this person someone I could take seriously or not, right? So that could be what's going on there. You guys are going to have to feel that part out, I guess, because it could be either of those two. Like I said, it could be that it really is that they were hurt. And yeah, maybe they are with someone else right now on the rebound, but it really was that they were serious about you. But wires just got crossed, especially if that did happen during the time that Venus was in retrograde. I think that was, October and maybe even part of November, if I remember correctly. So maybe that'll give you some perspective on the timeline there. And then, lo and behold, in the outcome position, we have illusion, which this is the equivalent of the moon card in the Rider-Waite. So, to me, could this again be pointing to saying that yes, maybe this person wasn't being straightforward with you all along? Absolutely, it is possible. We can't deny that, right? I mean, those three cards would almost point in that direction. But this could just be saying again that the two of you aren't seeing each other clearly, and what I find interesting looking at these two cards, which represent your present, the present influence of yourself and of the other person. We have Pentacles and we have Swords, so not a lot of love there, right? But the interesting thing is this is a Taurus card and this is a Libra card. Both of those signs are ruled by Venus, which, would add that love energy. But it could just be saying that the two of you are approaching it from totally different ways. You might just feel like you want something really stable that you can count on, right? Which is what the Pentacles represent. Not necessarily finances, but you just want something tangible that you can see. Whereas this person might be more of the talking type. They might also be serious. They might have a genuine interest as well, but they might be approaching it from a totally different way. And that could just be saying that the two of you just aren't seeing each other clearly, Like, you have the opposing colors there, the black and the white. Could just be saying that the two of you are approaching things from totally different angles. That's the case. A retrograde can play out where, yeah, maybe you can clear the air, but if you're feeling like that's not happening, you might want to wait. If you do still have an interest in this person, maybe you just want to wait for the retrograde energy to clear. If you feel like that really is where the two of you are at, you feel like you're just approaching it from totally different angles. And then at the bottom of the deck, too, we have the Tower card. So everyone knows what that card is about. It's called Depression in this deck, but to me, that tells me that something sudden is going to shift. So whether it be that one or both of you decide to just completely part ways and that's the end of it, or you guys finally talk things out and figure out what exactly is going on between the two of you, because, I mean, either way, it looks like you guys might not have approached things in the best way in the past. And right now, maybe you're, again, these are both Venus influenced cards to an extent. So maybe the love is there, but you guys just are approaching things from a totally different angle. So you guys just might have to talk things out if that's the case. Interestingly enough, we have an Oracle card that I didn't necessarily think would have fit with the spread, but we'll see when we read the messages. I've gotten this card a few times before, but I don't remember the messages off the top of my head. But the card is Exchanging Gifts, and it's number 27. We'll read the messages from that and see if it adds anything. Alright, it says the law of giving and receiving, currency, trade-offs, weighing cost, and determining value. Well, actually, oddly enough, immediately when I see weighing cost and determining value, that makes me think of this Seven of Pentacles card. So maybe that's where you're at with it, right? Deciding, do I even want to bother with this person or just wrap it up, right? The Oracle's message says you're entering into a productive and enriching time when all manner of opportunities are being offered to you. You have everything you need to seize them. Yet, in order to honor them, you must put in the time, exchange your experience and skills, and commit heart and soul to what you're choosing to pursue. You can do it. You have what it takes to be successful if you align with the law of giving and receiving. You must engage in a dance of give and take, push and pull, doing and being. If you let fear guide your choices, you could deplete yourself or create an imbalance. This is not a time to just do, do, do. Use your currency wisely and be mindful of the value others bring to your life. So, interestingly enough, this does, at least, again, for some of you, it could totally be 100% that you were dealing with a player, the way that those three cards lay out. But as I was laying out another alternative for you guys, and I feel like you'd probably at least intuitively have more of a feel for if this is the case. But for some of you, it could be that the person was genuine. They really were trying to manifest something with you, but you were a bit closed off about it and not trusting it for whatever reason. And then, that led to them getting in that Three of Swords energy, and now we see, obviously, they're at the Four right now. So they're healing from it, maybe not in the most healthy way, but, they're doing what they can to get over it, right? So maybe it's, again, this is what I was feeling too, is that for some of you, you might just have to talk it out one way or the other and really find out what's going on between the two of you. If you even view them as that important, right? That's the Seven of Coins for you there, weighing the cost benefit. Are they even worth having the conversation with, or should I just cut my losses, right? The relationship message says love is an exchange of life force energy between two beings. It grows exponentially when it's reciprocated. You must give and receive in order for love to flourish and abundance to flow between you. Spirit wants you to start accepting all the blessings waiting for you, as well as offer the same gift in return. Open your heart and allow it to be filled. Let love in and let it flow out of you, too. Love is truly yours today. So, again, like I said, I'm definitely feeling a bit of a split there from both your energies. Like I said, some of you really could have been that you guys started with the playing hard to get, and maybe you went a little too far with that, and then you're like, oh crap, right? For others of you, it really could be, I don't know if I could trust this person, and you closed off for that reason, with the thought that, you know what, if they're serious about it, they'll, not necessarily keep trying as in you were trying to get them to keep putting in the work, but just for you to be like, all right, well, if they're serious about it, if I say no once, maybe they'll come back around again. But if they don't, then I know, okay, maybe they weren't serious, right? And then I did pull, like I was saying, I got a new deck recently, so I pulled one card from that deck as well. And the intention I set when I was shuffling the deck was I wanted to pull a card that would represent what they would want you to know, basically. And which might be good because it looks like the two of you might not even be talking to each other right now. And the card that I got for that is this one here. And it says, I should have been more honest with you about how I was feeling at the time. So, quite frankly, if we take that message into consideration, it could be that they were serious about you, but maybe they were trying to be too cool about it too, right? So, could have literally been both of you were trying to be that way. They might have been trying to come off all cool and smooth about it, like, oh yeah, you want to do, you want to go out, trying to play it smooth, like they didn't care if you said yes or no, but they're just like, hey, maybe you want to do this. You might have been coming off with that hard to get vibe too, and then that could have been just what kept the situation the way it was in the past, and now where both of you are just kind of stuck in the present, not making any progress. So, and another thing with the moon too, what I always say with the moon card is when it's in the upright, especially when it is in the reverse, a lot of people view the moon card as pointing to deception, right? And but for me, I don't necessarily see it that way unless it's reversed. When it's in the upright, I view it more as the way I describe it is the example I usually give is if you're in a hotel, right? You're with someone and in the middle of the night you have to wake up, you have to go to the bathroom or whatever, right? So you don't want to turn the light on and wake the other person up. So you're just trying to go to the bathroom without disturbing them, but you're not familiar with the room, right? You just got there, it's your first night, so you might walk around real slow and feel your way around, make sure you don't stub your toe or like knock anything over, right? Obviously, no one moved all the stuff around while you were sleeping, but because it's an unfamiliar environment to you, you're not comfortable navigating through the room without any light, right? Whereas when the lights are on, you just instinctively felt, all right, I can move around here. I know I'm not going to knock anything over. Well, some of you are probably naturally clumsy, but you know what I mean. Most of you probably got a good feel for, all right, I can navigate the room with the light on. So when I think of it that way, I would say that you just might have to feel your way through it. And this might not be the best time for that, quite frankly, because you have Venus retrograde in your sign. It's moving closer to Neptune, which is your ruler. And yes, maybe that could help when Mercury goes direct, but that's not going to be till the very end of the month. And then you still might want to give it a little time after that, too, just to let the overall fog clear. So just something to think about there. But hopefully this resonated for you guys. I'll probably have the April readings up in the next week or so. All right. So once again, happy birthday, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.